everyone. I'm back to our part two of our topic for today, which is about area and surface area. A while ago, I discussed with the group on how to get the area of the composite figures. Of course, we started off with the area of the plane figures, such as square, rectangle, parallelogram, triangle, and circle. And of course, if these figures are put together, then we could make a what we call composite figures. And composite figures could be dissected also. Pwedeng hati-hatiin, tunga-tungaon into smaller figures such as, or simpler figures such as square, rectangle, parallelogram, triangle, and circle. Of course, this time, we will be discussing about the surface area of any of the solid figures. When you say solid figures, this is already a three-dimensional figures. Three-dimensional figures would look like this one. This one. This is already a three-dimensional figures. Example of the three-dimensional figures that we have, ang aton nga dice or ang aton nga box, ang aton nga Rubik's Cube, that is three-dimensional. Three-dimensional, it's because makaptan mo na siya. There are already three dimensions here. We have the length, the width, and the height or the thickness. The height or the thickness, which is unique for the solid figures compared to the plane figures lang yung there's only the length and the width or the side and the side. So this time, we will discuss on how to get the surface area of the following solid figures. Okay, solid figures or polyhedrons. Okay. The first one that we have here is the cube, or what we call, some would say that this is a square prism. Square prism or a cube. Magsin kita square prism. Square prism siya, nga square ang iyang base. Technically, ang aton nga cube, square man ang iyang base. Okay? Remember, let us be reminded of ourselves the part of the solid figures. Okay? Ang ating solid figures, meron sa nga part. Okay? The two basic parts of our solid figures in getting the surface area, we need to know kung ano ang iyang base or bases, and of course, ang iyang lateral faces, or other would call this as lateral surfaces. Okay? So, in this solid figure, ang inis nga solid figure, may mga parts na siya. The first part is ang iyang mga sides. Okay? Ang iyang mga flat surfaces. Ang iyang mga flat surfaces, if you do have there the box or the cube with you, I'm so sorry, I forgot my geometric figures sa my school. So this time, let's just imagine, may cube ikaw. Ang cube di mo may ara sa mga flat surfaces. Okay, the flat surfaces that you could touch is what we call its faces or its surfaces. Now, if you notice, ang ini naton nga solid figure nga cube, ang aton nga cube may ara siya sang 6 faces. Okay? May ara sa sang ang iyang faces is 6 kabilog. Where are the faces of this solid figure, or what we call this, palapit-lapit to na akong para makita pag ninyo. Excuse me for a while. Okay, para makita ninyo. Okay, you could comment if though hindi isa kitanon, or what more on how to enhance ang aton nga recording. Okay. Palapit-lapiton ko. Basta mahulog na ang akon nga ano, nga laptop. Okay. I hope it's clear now. Okay? Okay. If you could see here, ang aton nga solid figure may ara sa sang 6 ka faces. And where are the faces of this solid figure? The faces of this solid figure could be found at the top, sa may babaw, and bottom, duwa. So, top and bottom, duwa siya. Okay? Next, of course, may duwa man siya ka side sa may, diri sa may left side, kag sa may right side. Okay? Left side and right side. Okay? Duwa man sa ka faces. And of course, may ara kita sa may front and back, tubang, kag sa may likod. Ang sa may tubang, kag dito sa may likod, duwaman. So if you will count, top, bottom, left side, right side, front, and back, so there are 6 faces. Ang muna sa ginatawag natin nga faces or surfaces. Meron sa sang 6 ka faces or 6 surfaces. Okay. Now, this time, if you notice, ang aton yung mga faces, may ginatabuan sila. They meet somewhere else. Okay? For example, ang aton diri nga top diri sa may babaw naton nga figure, okay? And you compare it with the figures here sa may diri naman niya sa may front, okay? Diri sa may front, okay? Okay? So ang aton nga top kag ang front, ang aton nga top kag ang front nagatabo sila diri here, somewhere here. Okay, dira sila nagatabo. Okay, they meet here. Ang ginatabuan or to where these two faces meet, that is what we call edge. Okay? Edge or edges. Okay? Edge or edges. So, let's count if how many edges are there. Edge. Just like for example, sa inyo nga table. Sa inyo nga table, ang iyan sa nga daw sharp nga linya nga or gintabuan sa duha ka faces is what we call the edge. For example, this is one edge, and then another edge, another edge, and another edge. Of course, sa may babaw pa lang nga daan, may ara sa sang apat ka edges. Okay? Next, sa may dalom na naman niya, may ara man sa sang 1, 2, 3, 4. So may ara man sa sang apat pagid ka edges. Of course, sa may middle, nga nag-connect sang top kag below, bottom, may ara pagid nga apat. So all in all, ang iyang edges is equal to 12. Okay? 12 edges. Okay? We are just this time we are just only familiarizing the parts of the solid figure. Okay? Next is, but I just want to make it clear faces, anom, edges, or edge 12. Now, ang ato naman nga edge, may gintabuan man na siya. For example, the edge here, ang ini nga edge, kag ang edge diri, andiri naman nga edge na ina naman sila ang edge diri kag ang edge nga ini kag ang edge nga dira nagatabo sila diri okay, ang gintabuan naman sang edge where these two edge will meet is what we call vertex. Okay, vertex. Now let's count if how many vertices are there in our square, prism, or what we call cube. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So there are 8 vertices. Okay? So, for us to remember pagid, ang ginatawag natin nga vertices, amo na kung pungkuyon, kabla or habuyon ikaw sang cube. Pag naigo ikaw sang vertex niya, sigurado gid na ang ma-create din sa imo is a puncture or what we call buho. Okay? It's because amo siya ang tip yan ni baliho nan. Okay? So that's what we call the vertex. Pero kung edge gani makaigo sa imo, so of course lagob gina siya kay makurit sa because the edge is a line. Okay? The vertex is a point, the edge is a line. Okay? So maano na siya, malagob na sa or malinya na sa, it would create a line. Now the face naman pag ginaboy ka gani sang cube, kag maigo ang face, of course, this is a plane. Plane na naman na siya. Plane ang maigo. So, hindi na sa ma-square, more likely, mahabok na siya. Okay? Mabukol na siya. Oy. So, that is what we call that's the difference between the edge, the face, the edge, and the vertex. Okay? So, for the surface area, we need to familiarize ourselves with the faces. Okay? Remember that ang aton nga ang aton nga cube here has 6 faces. Okay? That is the front and back. Okay? Duwa na siya. Ang front kag ang back, pareho kadalagko. The same size or pareho kadalagko. Excuse me, I will just move. Okay? So, the front and back, the same sa kadalagko. The next one is top and bottom. Top and bottom na naman niya. Pareho man na sila kadagko. Okay? They are of equal size, they are congruent, and they are congruent and parallel. Okay? When we say congruent, ambot silingon, ang atin diri nga sa may top kag ang atin diri sa may bottom, they are of the same size. Congruent and they are parallel. They will never meet, but they are congruent. Okay? And of course, ang aton nga right side and left side. Right side and left side. Okay? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 faces. Okay? 6 faces. Okay, of course, because this figure is a square prism, or shall we say a cube, therefore ang iyang nga base is square. So, for example, this is the base. Okay, ang iyang nga base, for example, we assign the top as the base. Of course, ang aton diri sa may dalom is also another base. Okay, base man na siya. So, two bases. Dua ka base. Of course, ang aton nga lateral faces, the rest of the faces. Okay? The rest of the faces. So, ang aton nga lateral faces, apat sila kabilog. 4. Okay? Any questions so far? Do we have clarification or question? My pupils listening to me right now, you could type your question before I will proceed. If there's none, allow me to continue my discussion. Okay, so this time we will have to get the surface area. Okay, when we are talking about surface area, ang meaning ng surface area, that is the area of all the surfaces. Okay, SA for surface area, that means area of all surfaces. Or pwede man sa natin mabal na sum of all sum of all the area of faces. Okay, so we will just only get the sum. If you do have question, kindly tell me so that I could attend to your question. The first problem that we have here, or the first challenge that we have here, is to get the surface area or area of the surface of all the surfaces of this figure, which is a cube. A cube is a three-dimensional figure, and this cube may sa isang 5 centimeters nga side. Okay? So 5 centimeters. Remember that a cube, all of its sides or all of its edges are equal. Okay? Because it's a cube. So to get the area of the cube, all we have to do is surface area of the cube. Okay, can I erase this one? Lessonin natin kay Ina. Erase ko lang. I hope nga na-remember nyo na siya. To solve for the surface area of the cube, surface area of the cube. Okay? Surface area of the cube, that is just only side times side. Kay kwaon mo man lang siya ang isa ka side. Area sa isa ka side. Okay? Another thing that you have to remember in getting the surface area, you have to know first the net of the figure. Net. Okay? Ano bala ang net sa sininga figure? Net. When you say net, amo na sa iya itsura kung ibukaron mo sa. If you will open it, the figure that it could create, flat figure that it could create is what we call the net. So, the upper portion here is a square. Of course, ang iya nga sa may likod is also a square. Of course, ang iya sa may right side is also a square. Sa iya nga left side is also a square. Sa may bottom niya is also a square. And of course, sa may front niya is also a square. So the net, this is what we call the net. Okay? It looks like this one. So when we say surface area, all you have to do is just to get the area of all the faces. Okay? Of all the faces. Remember, because this is a cube, all the faces here or the surfaces here are equal or congruent or the same. So the next thing that you have to do is kwaon mo lang sa ang area sang first nga face. And that's also the area of all the other faces. Amo man sa ang area sang other nga faces. Okay? Amo man sa ang area sang tanan-tanan diri nga faces. Okay? So to get the area of this cube, we will just get the area of one side, which is side times side because it looks like a square. Okay? So that is 5 centimeter is one side times another 5 centimeter another side. Okay? So 5 times 5. That's the area of one side. Remember that we have 6 equal squares. So times 6. So there are 6 equal squares. So times 6. So that will give us the surface area of this is 6 times 25 centimeter squared. 5 times 5 is 25 centimeters, and centimeters is centimeters squared. So that will give us 150 centimeters squared. Okay, that's the surface area of the cube. Any questions so far? Why? It's because this is 25 centimeters squared. Sa ginkuha naton diri kay na, isa. Okay? Of course, this is also 25. This is also 25. Kaya parareho man lang sila. Parareho lang sila kadagko. They are of the same, congruent lang sila. Same size lang sila. So, 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25. That's why it's very important to know the net of that figure in order for you to get its surface area. So, there are 6 ka 25. So, that is 150 centimeters squared. Okay? We're done with the cube. Always remember that the surface area of the cube is 6 times side, or we could summarize that one to, pwede man siya natin sulaton nga, or that is 6 times s squared. Okay? 6 times s squared. Okay? With that, let's proceed to our next figure. We're done with the cube. How about this one? This time, this is not a cube anymore. This is what we call rectangular prism. Okay, rectangular prism. Okay, so this rectangular prism here, kung ikwaon mo ang iyang net, would look like this one. Ang sa may front niya, wait, by the way, ang aton nga cube is just okay. It's because ang tanan-tanan niya nga sides are equal. This one, lain-lain ng tanan, ang iba niya nga sides. Oh. Okay, if you notice here, this is 4 inches here. That's the height. Ang kataason sa aton nga box. Kataason. That is what we call the height. Okay? That's how tall our box. How tall. This is the length. Okay? Length is because it is the longer side. Okay? The longer side. Okay? And this is the width. The width is ang ano kalaparo niya. How wide or ano kalapad. Okay? That is the width. Okay? 3 inches. Now, kung bukaron ta, if we will just open this, it would look like this one. Okay? So, the bottom portion here is, that is 10 by 3. The bottom portion. The back portion here is this one. Would look like this one. This is 10 by 4. Okay? This is the bottom portion. This is the back portion. And of course, the top portion here is the same with bottom portion here. Okay? So, that will give us 3 by 10. Okay? And of course, the front portion here, the front here, would look like the same with the back here. Okay? Equal ang back kag ang front. Okay? So, dirita butang. That will give us 10 by 4. And the side here is, ang side naton, that will give us, sorry. Diri siya dapat. Sorry. Ang side naton would look like this one. 3 siya diri, this one. Kag ang iya naman nga kalabaon is 4. Okay? 3 by 4. 3 by 4. Okay? Same here. This is 4 here, so 4 man siya dira. Then, this is 3 here, so 3 man siya dira. Okay? So, this is the net of our figure. That's the net of our figure. And of course, to get the area of this rectangular prism, we will have first to get the area of the front. No. Arilanay. Bottom. The bottom there is 10 by 3, this one. And of course, 10 by 3, this one. Bottom and top. Okay? They are just equal. The top and the bottom are equal. So, this is rectangle. This is rectangle. So, that is equal to surface area of the rectangular prism. Rectangular prism, that is equal to dalawang length times width. Okay? 2 length times width. This is length times width. This is 1. And of course, length times width, this is another one. So we do have 2 here, length times width. Okay? So that will give us length times width, that is 10 times 3, that's 30. 10 times 10 times 3, that is equal to 30. Then there are 2 of that, so that will give us 60. Okay? The next thing that we have to do is to get the area of the sides here, the left side and the right side. Okay, so that is this is the height and the width. So 2 height times width. Okay, so we have here this portion and this portion, that is equal to height, which is 4, times 3, which is width. So that will give us uh, 12 inches squared. 12 inches squared, but there are 2 of them. So that it will give us 24 inches squared. And finally, the front and the back. Okay, the front here, that is equal to, that is equal to dalawang length times height. Length times height. So the length here is 10 times the height, which is 4. So that will give us 40. So that is equal to 40. But 2, because that is front and back, so that is equal to 40 times 2, that will give us 80. Okay? So therefore, the next, to get the surface area, that is just only sum of all the area. Sum of all the area. So we will just only add all its area. So 60 plus 24 plus 80, that will give us 164 inches squared. That's already the surface area of that figure. Okay, so once again, when you say surface area, that is just only the sum of all the faces. Okay, 2 bases here, which are rectangular, and the lateral faces are all rectangle also. So 6, 2, 4, 6, 6 faces. So once again, I just want to make it clear that you just only multiply 2 length times width plus 2 height times width plus 2 length times height. Okay, so that's the sum of, that's the surface area of the rectangular prism. Okay, I will put it here. So once again, the surface area of the rectangular prism is 2 length times width plus 2 height times width plus 2 length times height. Okay? We could interchange them. Pwede man nga una si 2 length times height sa 2 height times width. It's up to you. Okay? As long as you will just only add all the areas of the surfaces. Okay, that's why we need to know what's the net of that figure. Okay, let's proceed to the next figure this time. Our next figure looks like this one. Okay, our next figure is a pyramid. Okay, it's a pyramid. Okay, now if you notice this pyramid, here's the base of the pyramid. Sorry, and the base of the pyramid looks like a rectangle, but actually it's a square. Why square? Because the 2 sides are equal. Okay, the 2 sides are equal. Okay, remember that the figures are not drawn to scale, so it simply means nga wala gid na siya gin calibrate gid into or gin equal gid. It's just only a figure. Okay, so if you can see here, the figure here is square. Let's look at the net. Okay, that is 8 by 8. Okay, and kung makitaan mo ang front portion niya, this front portion looks like a triangle. Okay? And of course, ang diri nga side niya would also make a triangle. And of course, the figure here is also a triangle. And of course, triangle here. So that's how our uh, figure would look like. The what call this? The net of that figure. Okay, so all you have to do is get the area first of the base. We have only here one base, and of course there are four lateral faces, and this lateral faces this time is triangle. The difference between the prism and the pyramid, ang pyramid, ang iyang lateral faces is always triangle. However, ang prism, ang iyang lateral faces are always rectangle or square or a parallelogram. Okay? So, lateral face of that pyramid, that's the big difference of the pyramid and the prism. Okay? So, if you notice here, the base here is a square. So all you have to do is just get the area of the square. Area of the square is side times side. So that is 8 times 8, which is equal to 64 inches squared. That's the area of the base. Okay. The base is a square. Okay. The next thing is get the area of the lateral faces. Okay. The area of the lateral faces. And how to get the area of the lateral faces? They are all triangle. Okay, they are all triangle. And remember, this triangle, they have the same bases. The base here is 8, the base here is 8, the base is 8, the base is 8. Let us be very careful in getting the area of the triangle. The triangle here, ang iyang slant height, ang ginhatag. The slant height is 10 inches. Okay, therefore, this triangle has the base of 8 and the height of 10. Okay, so that is 8 times 10, that is 80, divide by 2, because to get the area of the triangle, that is base times height, divide by 2. So 8 times 10, that is 80, divide by 2, that is equal to 40. So this is 40 here, this is 40 here, this is 40 here, this is also 40 here. Okay? This one is 64 here. Na, ang mga area niya. Okay? So 40 plus 40 plus 40 plus 40. Okay? So that is equal to 160 inches squared. Then after that one, all we have to do is just add, combine. Okay? Combine. So 160 plus 64, that will give us 224. 224 inches squared. That's the area of the entire square pyramid. Okay? Square surface area of the square pyramid. Okay? So that is equal to area of base plus area of lateral faces or surfaces. Okay, so that's it. The base is a square and the lateral faces are all triangle. Therefore, the surface area is 224 square inches or inches squared. Any question with that? Any question? If there's none, let's proceed to the next figure. Our next figure this time is you will get the surface area of what we call cylinder. Okay, cylinder. Okay, we do have here a cylinder. Of course, our cylinder here, if you notice, let us try to look at first its base. Okay, the base of the cylinder. Okay, the base of the cylinder, I will show to you one example of the cylinder. Sorry for that interruption. This is an example of a cylinder. Okay, if you notice here, the cylinder this representation of the cylinder has the parts here. The top portion is circular, okay? The bottom portion is also circular. And of course, the top and the bottom are what we call the bases, and the bases are parallel and congruent, okay? So it would look like this one: circle the top, circle bottom. Okay, so that is those are the bases, two bases. Okay, now of course the portion here is what we call the curved portion is what we call the lateral face. And the lateral face, for example, if you have canned goods with you, kung may mga sardinas ka mo dira, you peel that off. Ay nako, you peel that off. Okay, if you will peel that off, okay, this is the portion here surrounding this can is what we call the lateral face. And the lateral face of that figure would look like a rectangle. Okay, so the surface, the lateral face would look like a rectangle. Okay, so the figure would look like that one. That's the net of this what we call cylinder. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is to get its surface area. Now, to get the surface area, we have to get the area of the circle and to get the area of the two circles here. So the circle is equal to area of the circle, that is equal to pi times radius squared. So pi is 3.14 times the radius is 4. That's given. That's 4 meters times 4 meters times 4 meters. Okay? So the area of that circle is equal to, wait. So 4 times 3.14, that will give us 50.24 meters squared. Okay? But remember, we do have two circles here. Two circles, the top and the bottom. Okay? So this is 50.24 meters squared. And of course, this is also 50.24 or 24 meters squared. Okay? So you just multiply it by 2, so that will give us 100.48 meters squared. Okay? That's the area of the two bases. The next thing that we have to do is to get the area of the lateral face. And to get the area of the lateral face, it looks like a rectangle. So that is equal to, rectangle is length times width. Area of the rectangle, length times width. But remember, the length here is the length of this rectangle. The length of this rectangle, the length of the rectangle is the same as, here's the length of the rectangle. The length of the rectangle is also the same as the circumference, the distance around the circle. The distance around the circle is what we call the length of the rectangle. The distance around, okay, is the length of the rectangle. Okay, so the length here is the circumference, that is equal to circumference. And to solve for the circumference, that is equal to pi times d. Okay, pi times d. So therefore, the length is pi times d times the width, which is the width here is the height, the height of the can. Okay, height times the height. Okay, so let's solve it now. Pi is 3.14. The diameter, or the d here is twice of the radius. So 4 plus 4, that is equal to 8 meters, times the height, which is 10 meters. So that is equal to 3.14 times 80 meters squared. So 3.14 times 80 meters squared. So that would give us 251.2 meters squared. So this is 251.2 meters squared. So after that one, the next thing that you have to do is just add. You will just get the sum of all the surfaces. So That will give us plus 100.48. So the total surface area is equal to 351.68 meters squared. Any question with that? So once again, to get the surface area of the cylinder, all you have to do is area of the circle, area of the bases, which are circle, plus area of the lateral face, area of the curved lateral face, which is curved. Okay, so that's how we get the surface area of the cylinder. Okay, let's proceed now to another figure, another three-dimensional figure. You could watch this on my YouTube channel. You could replay and to fully understood what I am talking here, you could pause and play. So you just subscribe to my YouTube channel in order for you to learn more about our math lesson. Okay, grade 6, let's proceed to the next figure, which is this one. The next figure that we will study this time is a cone. Okay, this one is a cone. Okay, to solve for the surface area of this cone, of course, let us know once again its base and its lateral face. Of course, the base is one circle. So area of the base, that's just very basic. That's area of the circle. So that is equal to pi times radius squared, 3.14 times the radius, which is 4 cm, times another 4 cm. So that will give us 3.14 times 16. So the correct, oh my, it's wrong. Wait. 3.14 times 16. So the answer is 50 and 2400 centimeters squared. Okay? That's for the area of the circle here, the circular base, which is 50 and 24 centimeters squared. This one. Okay? Let's proceed. How do we get the curved face of the cone? Curved face. Okay? For the curved face, of course, to get the area of the curved face, like that one. So that is pi times radius times slant height. Pi rs means pi, which is 3.14, times radius, which is 4 centimeters, times the S. S here stands for slant height. Okay, slant height. Here's the slant height. Do not be confused. This is the height of the cone. This is the slant height. Okay, so the height of the cone is different from the slant height. The slant height is what we call the slope. Okay, so that is the slant height. Okay, the slant height here is 5 centimeters. Okay, so you just multiply it, so that is 20. I could do it. So that is 62 and 8/10 centimeters squared. Okay, that's the whole area of the curve here, which is equal to 62 and 8/10 centimeters squared. Then after that one, you just combine these two. Okay, that is already the surface area plus. So the surface area of this figure is surface area 113.04 centimeters squared. So once again, let us be reminded that the surface area of the cone is equal to pi r squared for the area of the circle plus pi rs. Okay, pi times radius times slant height. Okay? So if there's no more question, let's proceed to the last figure. The last figure that we will study this time is the surface area of the ball or the sphere. Okay? The surface area of the ball or the sphere. Here's the figure. How do we get the surface area of this ball or the square? Okay. I when we were in college, we tried to peel the ginpanita namon. We tried to peel the orange, and um, after that one, the peeling of that orange ginbutang namon sa circle as big as the greater circle sa sinang orange sa iyang palibot or sa surface niya, and we come up with though almost 4 times siya sang iyang panit ang mabutang nimo sa iyang greater circle. When you say greater circle, this is the greater circle. The biggest circle that you can get in a spherical figure. For example, may sandiya kabi, no? If you do have that watermelon, all you have to do is to cut it into half. Ang pinakadako nga circle nga maobra nimo sa tunga-tunga gid sa sandiya, this is what we call the great circle, greater circle. So kung may sandiya ikaw, yan, tapos gintunga mo siya bino. Pagtunga mo man itsura niya, yan. Doon iniduro itsura niya. Okay, this is what we call the greater circle. Para yun sa kadako nga doon. Okay? That is what we call the greater circle. So, in order for us to get the surface area of the circle, ang obrahon mo lang is you try to peel an orange. Pagkatapos mo panit sang orange, ibutang mo siya sa tunga diryo ang panit. Do apat gina ka circle ang imong maobra. That's why to get the surface area of the sphere actually, that is just very easy. That is area of the greater circle times 4. So that is pi r squared. I-times mo lang siya sa may 4. Okay? And to do that, kinahanglan na natin kwaon ang area sang greater circle. So to get the area of the greater circle, that is equal to pi r squared. Pi is 3.14 times the radius, which is 6 meters. Of course, that is squared times under 6 meters. So that will give us 3.14 times 6 times 6. That will give us 113.04 meters squared. Okay? But remember, i-times mo pa siya sa 4. To get the surface area, times mo sa 4 ang iyang area sang circle nga pi r squared. So that is 4 times 113.04. That will give us a total of surface area is equal to 452 and 1600 meters squared. That's the surface area of that figure. Okay? So, to sum it up, here are the formula in getting the surface area of the cube for the rectangular prism. For the triangular prism, for the square prism, pwede din siya natin maobra nga. That's a pyramid. Area of the base is square. So that is side squared. Pero depende. Ang formula natin for the surface area of the prism and the pyramid, depende sa ilang base. Okay? That is the base. Tiki ang base, this is a square pyramid, so that is side squared, or pwede man natin butangan side times side plus. Those are 4 ka triangles. 4 times, ang triangle natin is 4 times base times height over 2. 4 ka triangle. Okay? So, i-add mo lang sila. You just add the area of the base and the lateral faces. So, any question with that? Let's proceed to another problem. Somebody is talking outside, so sorry. Let's proceed to the area of the, yes, this one. I-simplify ko lang niya, area sa aton nga cylinder. Ang cylinder naton, that is, duha ka circle, 2 times pi r squared. That's 2 circle. Tapos, i-plus natin ang area sa iyang lateral face, which is length times width. But remember, the length here is the circumference. Tapos, times the width here, which is the height. Okay? The circumference times the height. Pero mag-solve kita sa circumference that is equal to pi d, pi times d, times the height. Therefore, ang surface area ng cylinder that is 2 times pi r squared plus pi times d times height. So, that's the surface area of the cylinder. It's after 46 minutes, I already discussed with you the surface area of the different figures. Hopefully, ang very confusing lang dira sa aton is the prism and the pyramid. Okay, remember that the pyramid, ang tanan niya nga lateral faces are triangle. For the prism na naman niya, ang tanan niya nga lateral faces, the lateral faces are all square, rectangle, or parallelogram. So I hope it's very helpful for you to understand on how to get the surface area of any of the solid figures. Remember that in getting the surface area of any solid figures, you need to know the net of the figure first in order for you to visualize on how to get the area of all the surfaces. You just get the area of all the surfaces and get their sum, because when we say surface area, that is the sum of all the surfaces. I hope this talk is very helpful with you. Thank you so much for staying with me. Grade 6, kabay pa nakabulig sa inyong summative test. God bless you all. Let us all stay safe and healthy all the time amidst this challenge of pandemic. See you next time, and I am your Sir Colin Saves. Madamog yung salamat.